Okay, hello everybody. I'm meteorologist Ashley Smith here on this Tuesday morning. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Milton and our local weather. We'll talk about both of them, but the biggest thing, I mean, that's going to be impacting the country anytime soon is Hurricane Milton, which of course is bearing down on the Florida coast. We will be talking about the track of Milton, of course, not really seeing any impacts around here. It's going to have a direct hit on Florida, and a large portion of Florida will be impacted by Milton, even if you're not right where it makes landfall. I mean, this is a large storm system, so the impacts will be very big. I actually think the storm surge is going to be the biggest problem. There are areas that could have 10 to 15 feet of storm surge. With Helene, that storm surge was 5 to 7 feet in some spots, and that was a record for those areas. So you're looking at doubling that. So this is just going to be disastrous, really. But just wanted to give you the latest. This is the 11 a.m. advisory, and let me actually pull up a little bit more information about it because they do provide a lot more information on the website about this. But basically, they're going to see as much, they mentioned the storm surge right off the top, basically. The highest inundations of 10 foot or greater is expected along a portion of the west central coast of the Florida Peninsula. Devastating hurricane force winds. This is just some of the wording from the National Hurricane Center just to give you an idea of what they're expecting. Life-threatening hurricane force winds, especially in gusts, are expected to spread inland across the peninsula. Preparations to protect life and property and to be ready for long duration power outages should be complete by tonight. So that's the other thing. Folks are evacuating today, but this is almost too late. You know, the last couple of days were the days to evacuate, but a lot of folks still had to board up their homes, clean up debris from Helene so that they don't have to deal with both Helene and Milton at the same time. And so I understand why people waited, but now they're running into a lot of traffic. Airports are closing down today. So, and the other thing is with the airports closing down today, that's because their crews have to get out. They have to evacuate as well. So, you know, it's not like they can stay there until the last second because then where do they go? So the storm surge, and I'll show you a couple of these maps, but as I said, the storm surge is just incredible from Tampa Bay down to basically Inglewood, 10 to 15 feet. And I can show you that on the map here coming up in just a bit. But just wanted to kind of hit that off of the top, but we can kind of get into our local weather as well. Let me switch this around in preparation. Okay, we do have a couple of the cameras in the ocean. Actually, let me, not in the ocean, but along the ocean. This one I think was a live shot from a reporter just a little bit ago. But you can see that right now it's not that bad. But again, I just said this earlier. Once it looks like it's bad, it's too late because by then it's going to be very difficult to evacuate. So a lot of folks, you know, they say, well, it's not that bad right now, so I'm going to ride it out. Well, then once it does get bad, it's way too late. So that's why a lot of folks will be leaving today. Okay, so outside here, obviously it's beautiful weather across the area. There we go. Beautiful weather across the region for today. We do expect, there we go. We do expect that that's going to be changing, obviously, in the coming days. So we are going to see warmer weather, I should say. Those are the big changes for us. As far as any kind of rain, we just don't really see much in that 7-day forecast. So beautiful conditions expected, dry weather, obviously, just not much going on in our neck of the woods. So let's track Milton, first of all, show you that as of, I showed you that 11 a.m. update, winds are 150 miles per hour. There is a chance it could again regain that Category 5 strength, but at this time, it is a strong Category 4 hurricane expected to make its way toward the Florida coastline tomorrow. Really late tonight, tomorrow morning, they start to see the impacts. It doesn't make landfall until overnight Wednesday into early Thursday morning. You notice that right now, it looks like landfall is very, very close to Tampa. Let me see if I can dive in here a little bit more. So Tampa, Sarasota, and we actually have a TV station there in Sarasota, and yeah, they're going to take like pretty much a direct impact from the storm system. Punta Gorda, right kind of on the south side of that, but definitely seeing a big impact as well. So let me show you where that storm surge is. So the storm surge is basically, well, let me see if I can, that 10 to 15 foot storm surge is basically from like here, north of Fort Myers, all the way to Tampa Bay. That's where they could get the greatest storm surge. Outside of that, it goes to 5 to 10, 6 to 10 feet, so still very big. And then even further to the south, I mean, you're looking at Florida Keys, 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. Let's see, Miami's in about 1 to 3 foot storm surge. So you're still looking at impacts even far away from the storm. Now, the panhandle of Florida is the only part of Florida that really is not going to see any kind of impacts. They're not on any kind of watch or warning, but everybody else is. Then it continues inland, and even in Orlando, make sure that this is working properly. Okay. Even in Orlando, it's still going to be a Category 2 hurricane at that time. It's just incredible that it maintains that strength. Now, they're not going to have as much of the storm surge, which again, I think is going to be the biggest problem with this storm. I think that that's going to be the thing that causes the most damage, that floods the most homes, that washes away cars and boats and you know, moves. What happens with the boats, it like kind of moves them inland, and then they're just stranded, you know, and you don't even know where your boat is, because it could be a mile down the road, it could be miles down the road. So those types of things often happen too with these types of situations. Also, Category 2, a Category 2 hurricane is still going to bring devastating winds to this area as well. Now, I haven't heard if Disney is closing down. I imagine it will for a couple of days probably. I would imagine maybe it closes sometime Wednesday. I don't know anybody that's going to be there Wednesday, but and then Thursday it's probably going to be shut the whole day. But anyways, I don't know that for sure, but that would be my guess. I know with Helene, they stayed open, and a lot of folks were in ponchos and just looked miserable. So I don't know what they'll do. But then it finally moves out to sea by Thursday evening, and pretty much it's just gone. I mean, it's quick moving. That's a good thing. It's not going to stall out or anything like that. But of course, by then, all of the damage is already done. So if you have any questions, about Milton, please ask. Would love to get, of course, the best information out so that you don't have to get it on social media where there's a lot of misinformation, as I'm sure you've seen, which is very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that there's so much misinformation out there that the people in charge have to address it. You know, sometimes there can be like misinformation where we're just like, okay, there's just a couple of reports, but when it becomes, you know, even more widespread than that. So anyways, just want to make sure that you get all the facts. And again, you know, yes, it could change between now and when it actually makes landfall. But at this point, we're looking at 36 hours before it makes landfall. I mean, it's pretty imminent at this point. So we do know a lot. Oh, where exactly are you, Paula? Have you evacuated or? Oh, this is bad. Okay, so Rachel asked about our winds this weekend. You know what, let's just talk about it because there's not much to say about today. It's beautiful. Temperatures, obviously outside, look at that, you can see the birds flying by. It's a gorgeous day. Temperatures right now in the low 60s will make it into the 70s this afternoon. Let me pull up future wind gusts because it is going to get breezy this weekend. We have no storms on the horizon whatsoever. No severe weather threat whatsoever. I mean, not even a slim chance. I mean, we're looking at storms north of us on Saturday, but even then it's not severe weather. And then for us, our next chance for even just rain, even a sprinkle, is going to be Monday. And even then, I'm not that impressed by it. So we're probably going to go right back into those drought conditions. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you know, we were also talking about, sorry, I've got hair all over this shirt. We were talking about earlier how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have already gone to New Orleans because they're playing this weekend. I assume the game's on Sunday. And they're just getting out of Dodge ahead of time. But you have to think, and I know they're football players, and I know that they're, you know, not you and me, but that they're leaving behind these homes that they don't know what kind of condition those homes are going to be in once they come back. And that goes for everybody that's evacuating, whether they're doing it for their job where they get paid a lot of money, or whether they're doing it because that's their home and now they're having to go, north away from the storm to maybe hopefully a friend or a family member's house, or maybe they're getting a hotel. Maybe they're making the best of it and going on vacation. It's just, you got to feel for these people, because it's just very unfortunate that you have to pack everything up and leave for an undetermined amount of time. Because the other thing is, when can they come back? It depends. When are the roads clear? When is it safe to come back? So it's all those things you have to consider too. Okay, let's look at the wind speeds as we head into this weekend. So basically, we're very quiet for a couple of days. But as we head into, look here, Saturday morning, those winds start to pick up. These are gusts, 10 to 15, 20, 25, 30 mile per hour gusts. Saturday afternoon, it's actually not as bad, maybe 15 miles per hour. Sunday, it does get very windy. I mean, look at these 40, 45 mile per hour wind gusts on Sunday, but it's dry Sunday. So we're not looking at any kind of storms. It's just going to be very breezy on Sunday. Actually, I would call it downright windy. Let me see. Sunday is the Queen Bee half marathon, and I don't think it's too windy during that race. It's not until later in the day. Sunday is October 13th. For some reason, I thought it was the 14th, but so yeah, very windy Sunday. It does get better Monday. What happens is a front moves through, and as that front's moving through, it's very windy, and then we do see small chance for rain Sunday night into early Monday, but it doesn't look like a good chance. Where did I put that graphic? There we go. Okay. Let's look at rain chances. Okay, here we go. I know. I feel like, a lot of us know people. Okay. Yeah, Florida transplants from Ohio. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, everybody knows someone, right? It is such a popular place to retire or to vacation or to buy a condo and have the best of both worlds. So, yeah, it's very unfortunate. And that's all it is. It's just very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that, of course, it's on the heels of Helene as well. Even though Florida didn't take a direct impact from Helene, it was still bad. North Carolina and Tennessee's flooding kind of overtook the focus, but it was still bad in Florida, and they were still cleaning up. They still are cleaning up. Yesterday, I saw on social media that there were trash trucks just lined up to take debris away, because they were worried that that debris, which had been piled up, people had piled it up, they had gotten it ready for removal, and if they had left it there, then it would all be scattered again because of Milton. So they were out there trying to collect it and at least get it to wherever they take the trash, probably a landfill, or some of it was timber. Maybe they do have a place to take that separately. But either way, just to get it to one location so that it doesn't then get dispersed all over again. I guess one good thing is Helene probably knocked down some of those weaker trees that, Milton would have taken care of as well. So maybe the trees that were down, maybe there won't be quite as many because we've already had some of them down from Helene. I know that's a weird way to look at things, but and then the power outages, maybe they did reinforce some of those lines, but still, when you're looking at 140 mile per hour wind gusts, it's going to take down those power lines no matter what you did ahead of time. Okay, so talking about our rain chances, let me make sure I've got the right thing here. Okay. Notice how the weekend we have that rain to the north. Sunday, no rain. Even while it's going to be very windy, Sunday we don't have any kind of rain. And then Monday, again, maybe a sprinkle or two. It's a very small chance, and then we're dry again. So those drought conditions likely to continue. The drought monitor that we have available right now, which was released last Thursday, does not include some of the heavy rain that we got. So It actually yes. So it actually showed when it was released on Thursday, improved conditions across our region, but it didn't have all of the data because this comes out on a Thursday, but it takes the data from Tuesday. So what I suspect, all of that to say, that what I suspect is when this is released this Thursday, it's going to show worsening drought conditions. So widespread drought conditions, a lot of us are going to be back into perhaps the moderate or severe drought because we just haven't had that much rain in the last week. And going forward, it's only going to get worse because we've had very dry weather and we have very dry weather in the future. You know, Helene is the only thing that really brought us, well, we had thunderstorms like a couple days before Helene arrived. But yeah, it's just going to continue to look worse. I'm going to make a couple adjustments to this 7-day forecast, but they're relatively minor. So I'm going to show you that now. And then, again, we can get to some of these, more of these questions. Okay, so 7-day forecast. Let's just take it full. Low 70s the next several days, and then we start that warming trend, 75 Friday, 80s Saturday and Sunday. And then cooler Monday behind that front. Still remains breezy on Monday, but not quite as bad as the winds that we're going to have on Sunday. And again, very small chance for rain on Monday as well. Okay. I want to go back to Milton. Okay. Yeah, basically they're just saying, so they have key messages about damaging force winds, the highest inundations of 10 foot or greater. I already mentioned that. So, all right, let's go back. No, I like this 7-day forecast. I mean, we could use like a nice soaking rain in the overnight hours. That would really be ideal. Okay, I just want to go back to, let's actually pull up this camera. Again, so remember yesterday, actually, change my mind. Yesterday, Milton did become a Category 5 storm briefly. That's 180, or it was at 180 mile per hour winds. To be a Category 5, it has to have winds of 156 or 157 miles per hour. It's a weird number because it actually goes by knots. It has to be 157. So Category 4 goes up to 156. So it could become a Category 5 storm later today. Initially, some of the models showed that. It's really kind of, it's not much of a difference. 150 miles per hour, 157. It's still a very strong Category 4 storm. But it is expected to weaken to around a Category 3 storm when it makes landfall. Now, it is still going to have major disastrous impacts along the Florida coast. We cannot stress that enough because, and actually I like this other one better. Let me show you this one. And they're going to be widespread because, and the thing is, Amber was actually asking earlier why, Helene was a Category 4 when it made landfall. We're talking about likely a Category 3 storm. Why is this one going to be so much worse? Well, for me, I think it's because, first of all, it's more of a direct impact. Helene was kind of along the Florida coast. It didn't go right inland, it didn't force those winds and force that storm surge right, so far inland too. With this storm, with Milton, it is expected to make a direct hit, but also the storm surge. The storm surge is going to be double what it was with Helene, and it was already record-breaking with Helene. So we're looking at, 2 record-breaking storms on top of one another. So that's why I think it's going to be a big deal. And what you're looking at with the storm surge, all of that water kind of rises as it's almost like a tsunami effect. So all of that water is kind of coming toward the coast, and where does it go? It goes inland. So your home, what a normal level is maybe 10 feet. I mean, so you're looking at the water all the way within your first level and then perhaps even into the second level. So because they're looking at 10 plus foot storm surge. So again, that landfall looking like it's going to be, I mean, near Sarasota. They just mentioned, which I hadn't seen this before, that the degree of error is about 60 to 70 miles. So, you know, it could, while right now, that's why you have this cone. That's why it's not just one line, it's the whole cone, because it could be 60 to 70 miles in either direction. So while it looks like Sarasota, Tampa is going to see a direct impact, it could be Fort Myers that could have the direct impact. It could be a little bit further to the north. Let's see. So the, you know, Holiday, St. Petersburg, obviously, Sarasota going to have a big impact, Port Charlotte, Fort Myers, all of these areas, Punta Gorda, going to have a major impact from this storm. And even if, because it has it weakening pretty quickly to a Category 2, even that, the storm surge is still going to be very high. So the Saffir-Simpson scale, the category, is only directly related to the wind speeds. And while the wind speeds are going to be devastating, that's not what we're most concerned about. I think it's really more the storm surge. So, okay, I'm going to sign off here, get some more information before our afternoon newscasts, continue to update all of our platforms. So again, don't, remember that, of course, you can get all this information online anytime. We're going to be pushing out more alerts and notifications as it gets closer. We're about 36 hours from landfall at this point. So we definitely know a lot more than we did before. So yeah, just, yeah, as everybody said, keep them in your thoughts and prayers, because this is going to be something that we talk about for a while, I think. Really just devastating kind of impact there along the coast. So, all right. Well, that's all that I have for you. I will see you again at 3 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. And then Steve Horsemeyer will be on after that, and he'll have your streaming show at 7:15 as well. Have a great afternoon.